This is Alan. Alan is one of our members at the survey school, and recently he did a drone mapping project on a church where he established several ground control points, checkpoints, as well as did a static observation on those control points and tied everything into an NGS monument. He discovered that he was off, however, by 2 feet, and he wanted to figure out what was going on. By the end of this session, we were able to track down exactly where the error was coming from and how he was able to adjust everything to maintain centimeter level accuracy. This is due diligence.
I did this church, and I set down some 5 GCPs, and I used these 3 of the arrows for checkpoints. And then, like I said, I processed them through Opus, and I didn't get, but what I got out of 8, I got 4 solutions back. I think it was 4. 2 GCPs.
This was a rapid static though, right?
Yeah, the rapid static. I did about 18 minutes. The red point, that's my base. That's my RTK that I had. I had my base set up on site, and I was getting correction for my base from the NGS monument just a little bit south of here. I got the tip of the arrow, and it's pretty good. Yep. In fact, I measured, it's like, hundreds or something a foot. And the blue was my Opus solution that I got. I might have to double check that. I thought it was better. The green is the Trimble hub correction. So let me see here. But one thing that I thought was curious, and I'm kind of curious about your thing is, so here's my base. This is where the NGS monument is. Here, let me set these off, and you can kind of see it kind of right in here. So that's the Opus solution I got from a 4+ hour static. And I think the monument's right here. Now, let me turn that on. That red, that's the coordinate that I did for 10 minutes with the corrections coming in. Let me see in there. So it's a little over 2/10, which I thought was kind of interesting. If I turn all these on, what I ended up doing is doing that hub and spoke method. I pulled the observation files from each core station. Of course, this one was terrible because this one's actually like 114 kilometers away. It's Louisiana Tech and Ruston. The blue is the Opus correction. There's my red that I did the 10 minutes on, but I guess Opus probably kicked out this one and possibly that one, I guess. I think it uses or whatever, but probably took some, and I got this solution on.
So this isn't going to be the best option because it's hard to georeference in the image. Now, I don't think using the drone images is the best solution because it has its own set of errors that could be associated with it. Like, look at your power lines; they're not even lined up.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't use the drone imagery as your benchmark. That's the first thing. So what would be the difference between the Opus and then this is an NGS monument?
Yeah.
What's the difference between Opus and the NGS recorded coordinates?
I don't know if I've calculated that. I have to look and see.
Because the NGS, the NGS data sheet is your benchmark, 100%.
These coordinates are based on NAV 83 1986.
Yeah, that does affect it. It needs to be 2011.
So, and how is there a way? How can you?
When you say 96, what's 96? NGS or?
It's NAD 86. Well, the horizontal coordinates are NAD 83 1986, not 2011. Now the height is NAVD 88, but I'm not going to focus that much on the height. I'm let that dog lie down.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I don't know how you convert N80 83 1986 epoch to the.
You can use
2011.
You can use NCAT to do that, but
can you?
You can, yeah.
Oh, okay, because I can go input. Oh, okay, so I can do. Well, see, is it going to give me? Oh, there it is.
1986, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. See, what I screwed up is I copied the coordinate in here, and then I just kept using the same, just changing what I needed to change.
What you need to do though is go up to the top and change it to stapling coordinates.
Okay, well, here's the one downside is see, they only give me, and maybe it's enough on the lat and long. I just get 2 digits. I get 35.21 for the minutes. I don't get anything.
Why do you need the lat and long? Don't you have stapling coordinates?
Oh yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I can just stapling.
But just make sure you select it up top. Yep, there you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, look, I'm learning something all the time. Some northern is 636.
You knew that, right?
No, I did not. I didn't think about it. I probably could have figured it out. I had never used this till the other day. 207.512. And I wanted it. Oh, yeah, there it goes. I want in zone. Oh, yeah, I need to. Do I have to pick my zone?
Yeah.
Guess I do. Oh, okay. LA. Where's LA at? Oh, I'm north, so 1701. And I want to output to the,
Now you're going to give your adjustments here. So you'll put your reference
okay,
frame.
but I need to change this here to 1986.
Correct. And then that
Okay.
outputs 2011. All right.
Yeah, to 11. So I should submit. When I do go in, like for example, and like this check three here, and it's pretty close though. Let's see when I go to here to, I'm
I mean, see,
surprised that one.
and that one's like matching what you had before in terms of error.
Yeah.
So it makes me think, do you have a shift? Like, relatively speaking, if you were to measure, here's a test that you could do. Measure relatively between points that you measured with RTK, measure between points that you have through Opus, and see the differences. And then if you can set up a base on the monument and do base rover RTK. When you do base
That's
rover
what I did.
RTK,
That's what I did the first time.
and then you're using the NGS monuments as the
Yeah.
base
I set up
coordinate.
on the,
Okay,
well, what
so
I,
good. So then
okay.
I would take the measurements between the points with base rover RTK, inverse between them and get distances, and then do the same points with Opus, inverse between just two Opus points, same exact points as the ones that we're comparing with base rover from NGS, and see what the inverse distances are. If you have this, if you should, if my theory is correct, and it's just a base shift issue, you should have the exact same distance, um, and just your absolute accuracy shifted 4 tenths. I hope
Well,
that
see,
that's what the
here's now,
case is.
okay, on my, the other solution I got back on my checkpoint. See, here's it. There's the opus, and then there's what I did.
Hmm.
See, and then if I go, well, see here, the one thing I've learned, and we kind of discussed the other day, is unless you're close to a bunch of core stations, you can't really do this method.
Correct. That is correct.
It's basically, and I'll show you too. Just let me go down here. Let me get to, I think GCP. Oh, GCP2 is the other one I gotta. Let me zoom out
We'll
and get
get
there real
you
quick.
have two receivers, right?
I do, yeah.
You have bipod legs.
I do. Yeah, I've got a tripod, and I finally broke down. Okay, here's another solution I got on my GCP3, and you'll see the other one up there was kind of to the southwest, I think. Here's my Opus solution there, and then see here's my see my with my base set again. What I did is I set the base up on that NGS monument. I did a 10-minute corrections with GeoDNet. Use that point as a single point to transmit my corrections to my rover.
Why
And
didn't
you can
you
see
why didn't you use the NGS coordinates on the
because
base?
I got bamboozled with it was 19. It was I didn't really think about or know how to convert the eight. What
Oh,
threw
okay.
me off is it was in 83, 1986.
Why you could now what you could do is do a base shift. If you go into Imlet Flow and do a base shift, you can input new base coordinates and it'll shift the whole
Okay.
project for you.
Okay.
I recommend duplicating your project so if you mess up, you don't mess up the
Yeah.
original setup. But I
Yeah.
recommend you do a base shift to the NGS coordinates.
Okay.
The relative calculations are going to be the exact same, so you don't have to redo it.
All right.
And
Let me write
because
this
you have
down.
two receivers, you said you have bipod
Yeah,
pole
I got. Yeah, I did. I got.
you have
Yeah,
a tripod too, right?
tripod.
I would say take both receivers, go spend 2 hours, and just occupy 2 points and do full static on both those points because you have two
That's what I was
receivers.
thinking. I
You
was
can
thinking
get
about doing that.
yeah, I would do it. I
Okay.
think it'd be
Okay.
worth it. You only
Okay.
need 2 points. Just do 2 points, the two furthest points away where you
Okay.
have data for the RTK base
Okay.
rover and the rapid static.
Okay. Well, here I'll show.
And now you've got three methods on at least two of the
Okay.
points. You have a solid data set that you can talk about.
Okay. So you can see these are the 4 points. I got two on the checkpoints and two checkpoints. And what's nice about this side is now here's the downside. And here's what I'll have to do is I'll have to probably do these 2 points because I can they're out there. They haven't moved. See what I'm saying? Because
Oh, I see what you're
my
saying.
see
Why don't you do why
I
don't
put
you
my
do
GCPs down, but I picked them
you
up
pick
and
them
I
up.
didn't mark them. Yeah.
So don't do
But see
those
what's
ones.
good. Yeah, what's good is the only ones I can really do is these two right here. But I mean, they're if you look, they're probably about 100 feet or more apart. I go from here.
What about the NGS monument?
Okay. See, yeah, they're almost 200 feet apart, 191 feet. The NGS monument's right here.
I would do the NGS monument for sure.
Okay.
Do
So
one on
do
the
just,
NGS and then maybe checkpoint two if you feel
okay.
like it's
Okay.
safe to leave
Yeah.
for 2 hours on its
Yeah,
own.
it is. It's pretty quiet. I was out there and I had to deal with some
Yeah.
ladies came out to clean the church. They
I
kind of
would
eyeballed
say
me like,
put the tripod legs because it's more stable on
yeah, I'll do
checkpoint
it right
two.
here. Oh,
Yeah.
checkpoint two.
On
Okay.
checkpoint two, yeah. And then I would put the
Okay.
pole with the bipod
Okay.
because that one's on the grass, so you have more
Yeah.
stability on the ground.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm getting a little better at, I did actually pretty good setting my tripod. I've been using
Good.
that leg method and it wasn't an all day event. So I'm learning. So,
Good. No,
okay.
that's awesome.
So you think I ought to go out in 2 hours here and 2 hours there and then compare those points with what I have already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can do that. I was thinking about going out. One thing I didn't do is I was thinking about just doing RTK corrections on the checkpoints that I have. 'Cause I got one back over here too, but see, I never got a solution on that one.
Doing
Doing
what
a
with like
just the
GeoNet?
code, for GeoDNet and
You
just see it.
can. It's just
But
not as impactful as saying I have a
okay,
full
okay,
static on
yeah, okay,
saying you have a full static on an NGS monument is great because you are
okay,
now checking your Opus solution to a recorded coordinates on NGS's website. But then also you're doing it on a point that you set. So you can try both,
yeah,
right? And then you can
okay,
take a baseline between Opus 1 and Opus 2 and compare that baseline inverse distance between the other measurements that you took, and you can see how accurate your inverse distances are as well.
okay. I might have to help you guide me on that. But I mean, my the what I did with the base and the rover, it's pretty good. I mean, it's when I measured because I figured the center's more here. I mean, it's like
Well, this is a GCP, right? So you're using this
yeah, that's
point
my
to
GCP. Yeah,
so you're
yeah,
using it to influence
yeah. That's true.
the data. If it was a checkpoint where it wasn't influencing the drone data, that would be like, okay, that's a point you can use to check. But because it's
Yeah.
influencing it, it's the same point.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the checkpoint. Let's see here. Where is it at? Got to go this way a little bit. But that was kind of nice about this site. And I probably should have, I don't have really long nails, but I could have probably marked my GCP. But see, here's my checkpoint.
Yeah, so having a checkpoint like this where it's like it
See?
didn't influence the data.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you used other ground control points, so it should line up. That means that the bundle adjustment was good. This check is probably better suited to say that the drone data came in accurate to your control, which is
Yeah.
what we use GCPs for.
But see, on this, that's where I recorded it, and this is where it actually is. It's like 0.085. So, I mean, it's pretty good.
I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was pretty ecstatic. I was like, oh, okay. I think I know what I'm doing. I think I got it now. So,
All right.
but okay. So what you say is go out, do 2 hours I'll do those two on the NGS and do that other checkpoint, process that and just compare it to what I already got.
Correct.
And then you said maybe go into AMLA because that shouldn't take much to do a base shift.
Yeah, I would do a base shift to the NGS coordinates, 100%.
Okay. Just a base shift just to the NGS coordinates. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. And so, if you want to learn and gain direct access to professional surveyors like myself and others in the community, then I highly encourage you to check out the Survey School. Inside, there are several people just like Alan who can take their data sets now from being several feet off down to just being a couple of centimeters. Or people like Michael who have built an entire six-figure business just by being able to deliver data that has centimeter level accuracy. And so if you want to improve your data accuracy in order to start working with larger clients and make more money, check out the link down in the description and join the Survey School today. Thank you for watching our first episode of Due Diligence, and I'll see you guys next time.